Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's panel. It's called Leveling Up or Level Up, Maximizing Partnerships, Opportunities in Digital Gaming. My name is Careen Yapp. I'm Chief Strategic Partnerships Officer for the Embracer Group, and I'm also Chairman of the Board of Women in Games International. I'm very thrilled to be moderating this panel with some of the most influential leaders in gaming, licensing, and consumer products. So we're going to do a few intros down the line.
Sure.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll start it off. Hi, I'm Andrea Fasulo, and I lead global licensing at Supercell. For those of you who may not be familiar with Supercell, we're a leader in the mobile gaming space based out of Helsinki, Finland. We are home to hits like Clash of Clans and Brawl Stars. And as part of the Entertainment and Partnerships Group, I get the fun job of finding ways to bring our games to life beyond the screen. So it's through consumer products, through brand collaborations, promotional partnerships. And so that's really the fun part of it. And I'm excited to be here and speak with all of these ladies today.
Yep. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Justine Higueras. I head up our Roblox partnership group for CPG and beauty brands. Really thrilled to be here because I believe we are witnessing a revolution in play where kids aren't just playing with physical toys anymore. They're creating online identities, creating worlds, and creating communities. So really thrilled to be here to discuss with the fellow panelists.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tiffany Patterson. I head up the girls global brand team at Jazwares, probably best known for Squishmallows and Pokemon. So I have actually over 20 years of experience, don't do the math, in the toy and entertainment industry for kids. So I've been on brands such as Guitar Hero, Ice Age, Barbie, but really feel fortunate that I get to work on brands that bring joy and fun to kids' lives. And I'm fairly, I've been on video games and I've been on toys and fairly new just in the last few years working to the integration of both gaming and toys. So really excited to see where the discussion takes us today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Afton Thatcher. I am head of industry for toys at SuperAwesome. If you're not familiar with SuperAwesome, we are a youth marketing organization that focuses on an insights and data-driven solution to connect you with audiences. But my background is very deeply in the gaming space. I was at the Game Developers Conference for about 7 years and also worked for Xbox for about 10 years. So I am so happy to bring my love of toys and gaming together in today's session. Thanks for having me.
Okay. As the video game industry continues to evolve, the opportunity to expand your franchises beyond or extend franchise brands continues to grow, and the outcomes can be more successful than ever. These amazing panelists represent companies that are at the forefront of all of these transformations. They are helping brands forge meaningful partnerships and creating innovative products and engage in video game communities in new and exciting ways. Today, we're going to explore how brands and gaming companies can collaborate successfully, how platforms like Roblox and games like Supercell are evolving to support brand engagement, and how storytelling and technology are shaping the future of gaming-driven consumer products. So whether you're in licensing, retail, gaming, or product development, we hope you leave with actionable insights on how to navigate this very dynamic space. Given the short amount of time we have, we're going to please ask that you save your questions for the Ask the Experts at the end of this event. But if you really have a compelling question, just raise your hand and we'll try to answer it as best we can. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first question is, the intersection of gaming and consumer products continues to evolve. When it comes to your company, what are the biggest trends driving the industry forward right now? And we'll start with you, Andrea, and go down the line again.
Okay. Well, honestly, as a mobile gaming company, we are keeping our focus on the growth of mobile gaming. When you look at the gaming landscape, you now have mobile making up 50% of it and growing. It is just a massive and very accessible landscape. And so for us, that's a great opportunity for launching IP, right? Like, it's a great breeding ground. You have these huge audiences, and it's a great way just to kind of, through our games, develop that. I think the other trend is social gaming, and Supercell has always put social and multiplayer experiences at the forefront of our gaming development. It's been the way that I think we have developed such strong communities within our games. And then those communities and their passion are certainly what fuel them wanting to snap up our U2's collectibles, or, literally getting us 10 million views in 24 hours on a Brawl Talk episode, or thousands of them showing up to our events at San Diego Comic-Con or our big event called Superfest. I think, again, it's really the way that we have brought in our audiences, how we keep our players engaged and make them our community. That is what fuels all of these extensions beyond the game itself.
At Roblox, we're ultimately a social gaming and creation platform. We have about 90 million people per day coming and spending 2.5 hours with us. And they come for really 3 key reasons. Number 1, to have fun. Number 2, to socialize with their friends. And number 3, to self-express. And I think the self-expression piece is so powerful. To give you a context, there are over 1 billion avatar updates every year. So people go in and update their avatar once a week, once a month. And 56% of our Gen Z say that having their avatar equipped and looking good matters as much or more than how they present themselves in the physical world, which presents brands and IP a really interesting opportunity to co-create with our community and bring 3D stories and immersive storytelling to life in a platform where you can get immediate feedback. And so really, phygital self-expression is where we're seeing so much growth.
So, and with respects to the toy category, there are classically rooted play patterns that don't generally change that much. So that includes fashion, nurturing, customization, but it's really the aesthetic and the themes that continue to evolve in line with what's relevant for kids today. So we know that Gen Alpha is spending more time on Roblox than any other entertainment platform, and that includes YouTube, TikTok, Netflix. So when we're developing a toy line that's connected to a video game, what we're focusing on is on that cross-section of evergreen play that exists in both the physical and digital space. And we really want to maintain that same spirit of interactivity and engagement that they have in the game. So it's not enough to have a toy line simply be a replica of the game. We're approaching it as an extension of the game experience. And I know you said the word phygital, and it's I think that term has changed, and I'm glad that you mentioned it, because it used to be phygital, meaning you have to have a toy and it has to have some kind of digital online component. It needs to be connected to an app or connected to a game. But the way we see it more is, how do we kind of fuse those experiences? And I'll give Adopt Me as an example. So Adopt Me is one of Jazwares' licenses. We, our intention is not to have kids feel as if I'm playing Adopt Me the game and now I'm playing Adopt Me the toys. It's just I'm playing Adopt Me. The experience is really seamless. So that's really our intention. And I think with toys and really all consumer products, you are allowing gaming franchises to extend far beyond the screen and truly become immersive, multidimensional brands.
So I will pick up on that. So one of the trends that we really see coming to the forefront is the idea of Generation C, which we consider Generation Creator. So that includes Gen A and Gen Z, and it is a creator ecosystem where we know that games are creator-driven, audiences have become creator-driven, and now IRL toys are creator-driven. So we think there's a really interesting intersection of culture, consumer products, and gaming that are coming together in ways we've never seen before. A really good example of this is the dress to impress trend. You may have seen it blow up on TikTok. Celebrities started engaging with it. It really just took off. Meanwhile, Charli XCX launches her summer album and Brat skyrockets. All of a sudden, you've got Brat showing up in Dress to Impress as UGC. So in one hype moment, you've connected TikTok, celebrity, gaming, UGC, and music. And so I think it's thinking about how all of these things can come together, and most importantly, how to find those fandoms that are going to allow you to connect with the audiences that are going to get behind your brand. So you're building out really long-term fandoms that you can tap into over the life cycle of a toy.
So Afton, SuperAwesome is a leader in creating responsible youth digital marketing campaigns that make an impact. So how does your technology protect young audience and the brands that you're representing?
So SuperAwesome is a PII-free ecosystem, and we deliver solutions across YouTube, across a video marketplace. We do gaming activations and influencer, and everything is done with safety at the forefront. So compliance is an underpinning of everything that SuperAwesome does, but it doesn't mean you can't be really engaging and do fun things. So a great example of how we have extended a toy IP from gaming is a campaign we actually did alongside Jazwares, where we took, it was a Fortnite action figure collection that they were targeting towards teens. And we didn't need to be in Fortnite. We didn't need to do a big event there because those gamers already exist there. So we really wanted to build communities outside of Fortnite. So we tapped into influencers that were huge on Fortnite, including Typical Gamer, Ali A, Cypher PK, and we really used that content to drive awareness for the action figures. And we were able to bring it to life and create sort of that theme that you said, which is we don't want someone to think of the gaming experience as separate from the toy experience. It's a one cohesive play pattern and one cohesive way to get engaged with something we love. We then took cut downs of that and distributed it across YouTube so that we could really tell the story about the action figures, bringing Fortnite to life even further.
So Tiffany, Jazwares has been at the forefront of gaming-related toy collaborations. So how do you approach a partnership with a gaming brand to ensure a successful expansion into toys?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, you have to maintain the integrity of the game. And I'm not going to call out any toy companies here, but it's a much more involved process than just, here is a toy or figure that resembles the characters of this game. And frankly, that's true if you're developing a toy line tied to any IP, whether it's a video game or a TV show or a movie. You have to be authentic for the fans. So Jazwares is known for not sacrificing quality for margin. We deliver best-in-class packaging and design, so our gaming partners know that. But the other driving force behind our toys is the codes. So we offer unique exclusive game codes with every toy, and that's a unique exclusive that Jazwares invests in. So that's something that, with video games, there's not a significant overlap between game players and toy purchasers. A lot of older kids who play video games have aged out of toys. A lot of game players are teenagers or adults. So it's not your typical toy target demographic. And that's where our exclusive game codes help bridge that gap. That players are incentivized to purchase the toys because it gives them, exclusive virtual items. It levels up their player status in the game. So that's something we can offer them. And we know because we have very high, way above average redemption rates for our codes. So we know that the fans really appreciate that they get an awesome toy from their favorite game, but they also get that added value of having an enhanced experience in the game.
Thank you. So Justine, Roblox is a massive platform for both developers and brands to create immersive experiences. How has your approach to brand integration evolved over the years? And what are some key changes that have shaped how companies activate on the platform today?
Absolutely. I think one of the most exciting updates we've announced in the last couple of years is immersive ads and rewarded video, which will be launching soon. I think it provides a really seamless way for brands to test Roblox without building these enormous 3D immersive worlds. These ads live within games, targeted to 13 plus, very safe, but it allows a brand to reach an audience that they may not be reaching in other places and who are incremental. Beyond that, we're putting together programs that marry the best of 3D immersive plus the ease of media buying so that media buyers, for example, can purchase campaigns as they would anywhere else on any other platform. And then, of course, we marry developers to brands and IP to connect them to produce beautiful games and also to integrate in some of our top IP, which allows them to reach an audience natively and work with a dev who knows their community, knows how to tap into the fandom, and scale that for IP and brands.
Great. It's your turn. It's your turn, Andrea. Licensing gaming IPs into consumer products can be both an art and a science. What are some key factors Supercell considers before launching an interactive licensing partnership?
Yeah, I think the first thing we look at, or I should say the big question we ask is, are players going to love this? Like, is this going to be something that excites them? Or is it going to spark some kind of passion? Does it add to their current gaming experience? Because if it doesn't add and potentially takes away, it's not worth our effort. And so that's where we will look at kind of those questions. And if every answer is not a yes, we won't do it. I think the other key component is storytelling. Obviously, what we do in our games is storytelling at such a high level, and that's where we want to figure out how every experience that extends from that, how does that help us extend that storytelling? And so with products, for example, we want a partner who is going to come, and how do we tell that storytelling and extend the experience of the game through the product itself, through its design, through the packaging, and even through the marketing. And so I think that's where the biggest piece for us is, like, again, figuring out how we can achieve that and then finding the right partner. Because it does take a lot of, I'll say, investment of time and energy, because we want a partner who will really dive in and learn our brand, learn our culture, learn like what's important to our community, and really invest in that. So, we will often, in evaluating partners, and again, this is across products, experiences, even content, if they are not willing to go on that journey with us, we just will wait and find the right partner.
All right, so this is a question to all the panelists who want to answer this question. What are some of the biggest challenges in aligning gaming brands with advertisers for Afton, or gamers' expectations for franchise expansion, the rest of the brand? And how can companies navigate these challenges effectively? So when your gamers have really high expectations, or your advertisers have high expectations, how do you navigate all of that?
I'm starting? Okay.
Yes.
So I think for us, it's about a continuous conversation with our players and the community. We have an incredible team of community managers at Supercell who are constantly engaging in dialogue with our players every single day, be it on our social channels, be it in-game itself, be it entirely like dedicated community events that we throw. It's that like dialogue that we have with them, and we bring them into the conversation. We want to know constantly what they like, what they don't like, where they want to see kind of not only the game going, but all of these other extensions. And so it is that loop of constantly like going to them, getting their like information, getting their feedback, refining our plans. And so that is really, I would say, what's critical for us.
And from a platform perspective, when we work with toy brands, we will often work with the licensing folks and the marketing folks. When you're looking to drive awareness of new products, that we have essentially a playbook for, right? It's marrying 3D immersive experiences with media to reach your target audience and back into brand metrics. When we talk to folks who are looking to monetize on the platform, right? That I have to reiterate that Roblox is a platform, so we provide the products, the tooling, the services, so that anyone who has internet access can become a creator. And so really what we're trying to do is help our partners diversify their risk, right? Building a traditional game takes a lot of money and a lot of time. And because of the tools that we provide at Roblox, game development becomes very iterative, where you could stand up a game in a couple months for a couple $100,000, right? So it allows you to test and learn. And beyond that, we try and connect brands with our creators so that you can host game jams, for example. Duolingo did this. They went to our development community and said, hey, here are all our assets. Create games with us. And so they ended up having 15, 20 games being built around the Duolingo campaign that they had been running, which is incredible because in a short period of time, they stood up that many games, getting that many more people engaged with Duolingo. And so I think there's an exciting opportunity to kind of merge actually marketing plus monetization on Roblox and do lots of test and learn. So I encourage, if you're curious about Roblox, the entry points are actually fairly low and you consider the context of the gaming world. And so please just build, test, iterate, and listen to the community.
Yeah, and I'll keep this short and sweet, but coming from a toy perspective, yes, absolutely. I love what you're saying about listening to the fans, because that is key. We don't force fit line extensions, and that means whether it's a particular SKU we want to add, a vehicle or a playset, a feature, piece count, anything like that, if it doesn't make sense, if it's not organic to the game's storytelling, it doesn't move forward. Because if you've turned off the brands, you're feeling if you've turned off the fans and you feel off brand to them, you've already lost them and they're on to the next. So it's really important to keep listening, keep understanding what they're looking for from that, digital to physical transition.
So on the advertising side, some of the challenges that we run into, yes, certainly authenticity. Brands want to engage in gaming environments, but we need to make sure we're doing that in an authentic way. But on the youth side, which is where SuperAwesome is predominantly based, we also need to figure out measurement, because brands do invest to create these really amazing experiences, and they know the number of engagements they had and the amount of time spent, but they don't know how it impacted their end user and how that may translate to return on ad spend. And so who were these gamers who visited the experience? What were they doing outside of that experience? What other platforms are they engaged on? And that's something that SuperAwesome is working very hard to understand. We have created a partnership with GameFam, who is one of the largest youth game developers on Roblox. And we are ingesting all of their data, all of this amazing unstructured data, and turning it into a solution that allows us to tap into our YouTube, our marketplace, our influencer communities, and gaming, and understand that whole ecosystem so that we can do a better job of measuring for our partners.
Okay, Afton, thinking about licensed products and franchises with multiple touch points, how can you make sure the activation you have is benefiting a specific product rather than the entire IP?
This is a good question, because it is one we run into a lot. So, a great example is, take a movie, a theatrical launch, you're building products, IRL toys that you want to promote that. It can be very hard in a digital space to separate that licensed IP from the IRL product. So in this case, we really do have to think about how we can use both on-platform gaming solutions as well as off-platform video to tell that story, so that we really are connecting the dots and making sure the IRL product is shining through. So we definitely, again, influencer is a big piece of this. We work very regularly around licensed IP to showcase not only that license, but also the toy and how you can unlock the play patterns and extend your fandom into real life experiences with your friends. But we also, again, are looking at how to do on-platform solutions. So we have also partnered with Roblox and are indexing all of their games by genre, by category, so that if you're looking for fashion fans, we can connect you with them. If you want to reach sports fans, we know which Roblox games will effectively do that. If you want to reach superhero fans, we can do that. So we are really working hard to find both on and off platform solutions that will tie it all together in seamless ways.
Okay. So Tiffany, Jazwares has created many game-inspired product lines. How has your collaboration with your gaming licensors evolved over the years to enhance the products that you create?
Yeah, so gaming developers are fiercely protective of their fandoms. So it is and I cannot stress this enough, and I've worked with a lot of licensors, it's so much more involved and intimate for gaming developers. And, these are not behemoth corporations. These are, when you have UGC creators on a platform like Roblox, they're often small groups. It's usually less than 10 people, sometimes only 2 people. So it's very personal to them. It's not, just their job. It's their passion, their pride. So it's critical for us to work with them every step of the way on the toy development timeline, and that starts with initial design concepts to 3D models to the way we market the toy line as well. So they're very, very involved. And then on the design part itself, when I say design, that's not just the way they look. It goes to the body sculpt, the face sculpt, the skin tones, the hair, the shoes, the fashions. And we go over and over, and I'm not exaggerating, again and again until we nail down every last detail until it's perfect. And they know that, the fans have high expectations, so we have to deliver. And then it same goes with the packaging as well, that the branding has to be consistent with the game, and we want that instant recognition on shelf. But another thing I will say is that with Jazwares, we really ensure that our values are aligned with the developers. So, to give you an example, sustainability is very important to many of our developers, and that is something that Jazwares is committed to. For our packaging, we are PET certified, which means we use 30% recycled materials that are sustainably sourced. We minimize waste. Inclusivity and diversity is another core value that we share. That's reflected in our line, and it's always at the forefront of our design planning with figures and dolls.
Great. So, Justine, Roblox provides a unique ecosystem where brands can engage with players in an interactive way. Of course, everybody knows that. This moves way beyond traditional advertising. So what are some of the most effective strategies you have seen where brands create engaging experiences that feel very authentic and organic?
Yeah, I think when brands build on Roblox, the key is including your community in the storytelling of your campaign, your IP, your product, so that they feel like they're an owner in it. I think that's really important, and I think there's a co-creation element as well that's really interesting. On Roblox, you can interact with the community in real time and garner feedback in real time. I love an example from the beauty category, but very applicable to the toy category. Fenty Beauty and Sephora launched a Fenty skin experience where our community could go in and learn about all the different ingredients and the components of the products that they're making. And at the end, they were able to upvote some user-generated, created gloss bombs, colors, and voted their favorite. And then from that top 5 or top 10, Rihanna actually picked her favorite color and produced it in Sephora as a Roblox edition. And I think there's an opportunity here to take the insights from a community, from a digital-first community, and bring them into the physical world. So I'd be excited for someone.
It's a little beta testing. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Andrea, storytelling is critical for expanding a brand beyond gaming. How do you craft authentic narratives when bringing gaming IP to film and TV, consumer products, and location-based experiences or entertainment?
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to kind of go back to my previous, which is storytelling.
Okay. Yes.
In that when we're looking at any extension, so be it product or experience or content, we really dig into the storytelling, and that we take that brand, we know what their values are and such, and our team will actually go and start to craft what would be the storyline if this brand was part of our world, and literally write it out as full on narrative. And that's almost like a little bit of an indicator for us if it's going to work. Sometimes they and I not yet announced, but a footwear company where we came and we were like, okay, given kind of their brand ethos and where they're going with the new product line and such, and how we can write that in, it was such an amazing fit. And we had this whole way that a few of our characters could kind of come and be part of their world. And it was one of those that you're like, okay, this works. And then it's also a good test when you try something, you're like, this is just not gonna fit. I think it's also, again, and partners, this goes across the board when we're looking at directors or producing partners or experiential partners. We really will sit in a room with them and try to get to their tone of voice. We know our tone of voices for our different games, but can they really tap into that? Or is their voice almost sometimes so strong that they can't tap into it? And so we spend a lot of time on that entry point of can we, again, get the right narrative together? Can we hit the right tone of voice together? And that is really what is kind of propels us in all of our decision making.
Very cool. Okay, let's see. We're going to talk a little bit about innovation and emerging technology. So, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions, and if you guys want to jump in, go ahead. So, Afton, how has technology helped evolve marketing and promotions through digital experiences?
So we have to, of course, acknowledge AI, and that sort of goes back to that generation creator discussion that we had earlier. But AI is certainly shaping new ways to engage. At SuperAwesome, we're looking very carefully around what it means to younger audiences and how we can ensure that AI is compliant with those younger audiences. But we're also using AI internally to bolster our learning. We have tens of thousands of campaigns we've run. We've got hundreds of first-party primary research pieces. We've got tons of brand lift studies. How can we filter all of those into a tool that help us be smarter about how we partner in certain categories and engage certain audiences to drive the right outcomes? So I think we are leveraging technology. We are aware of it as a tool for youth audiences, again, safely, but we're really focused on how we can enhance our own systems to deliver better outcomes for our partners.
Justine, Roblox continues to innovate with new tools and features that support creators and brand activations. Are there any recent updates or upcoming tools that we should be aware of when looking to expand the presence in the Roblox universe?
Absolutely. So our goal is really to enable creation anywhere on the platform. So through generative AI, we're going to enable anyone to essentially create these 3D immersive worlds without needing to have too much technical experience. And for our developers, that's exciting because it can reduce time to launch games, right? But for everyday consumer, imagine being able to co-create with one of your favorite brands. Let's say Care Bears. Imagine you wanted to have a Care Bear body, right? You could actually go into the Care Bears experience today or very soon, hopefully I didn't blow that for them, and create a body of Care Bears that you can equip as your own avatar. So really generative AI is going to help us power creation everywhere, which is what we're really excited about. And a lot of the tools and products that we're launching this year stem from that premise. Yes, and experience creation is going to be, I think, a big one for us.
Cool. So Tiffany, gamers have very high expectations for authenticity in merchandise. How do you balance product design with retail appeal while staying true to the gamer's core identity?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, you have to be authentic to the game, and that's always something we're thinking about as we're developing the toy line. But I'll be honest and just be very transparent. We don't only focus on the game players to be interested in the toy line. We extend beyond that. We have to scale it. So I'll use Royal High as an example, where there was a huge initial rush of interest from the fans of the game. And I'll give an example where we had a $50 limited edition fashion doll, and we put it up on our own DTC. The single marketing driver here was one social media post from the developer, and the doll sold out within 3 days. And it ended up on eBay for over $1,000. So it just goes to show that, that's low-hanging fruit. You have the fans, they're already interested in the IP. We're offering the toys not only with their codes, but we're offering them a way to stay connected to their favorite IP outside of screen time. Now, what's interesting, though, is that follow-up to it is that we did a traditional marketing approach as well. We had linear TV and we had digital pre-roll. And what we found, and this is from post-purchase retail surveys, that we were having a lot of girls purchase the dolls because they're gorgeous and they're fun to style and they're fun to play with. And some of them had actually, and we put this in the survey because we wanted to know, some of them said they did not play Royal High. Some of them had never even heard of Royal High. So I think what's really interesting is that we're piquing, the interest of the fans, of the existing fans, but we're also bringing new fans into the Royal High universe and franchise. So that's very exciting for us.
I love that. Okay, this is a question for everyone. Feel free to answer if you choose to do so. With the intense competition of eyeballs in the entertainment market, what strategies have you seen work best for building engagement with gaming communities and driving excitement around licensed products? Justine, do you want to tackle that one?
Goodness. Well, I will say that.
Or do you have all the eyeballs already because you're Roblox?
We have a lot of eyeballs. I mean, I think the themes are consistent, right?
Yeah.
Authenticity, making sure that you are storytelling in a 3D immersive environment. So that's different than 2D marketing or advertising on other platforms where you're swiping through video, right? We see that oftentimes people will spend up to 10 minutes just with a branded experience, right? That's not even the 300 minutes for some of our top games. But that's 10 dedicated minutes of uninterrupted time getting to know your brand, getting to understand the qualities of it. And brands can get creative across all categories. One of my favorite campaigns was actually by Lamborghini. They launched a new car on Roblox, and they launched 3 exclusive UGC items. These UGC items were priced at around $20,000 US. And that is because they unlocked a tour at the Lamborghini factory in Italy, which is an experience that only Lamborghini owners receive. And so they were kind of creating this blurred line between physical and digital, and they were able to reach probably someone who could afford $20,000 for UGC might be a Lamborghini owner, right? So I think, knowing what's special about your brand, knowing what is in your brand DNA, whether you want to entertain, whether you want to educate, right? Anything is possible on the platform as long as it's authentic to you, authentic to the community, and not overtly like buy my product. They want to engage with you. They want to learn. And so I think this is a new medium for storytelling, especially for marketers and for franchises and for IP. And I think it's an exciting place to evolve and innovate in.
Yeah, I mean, we don't make Lamborghinis. I wish we did. That does sound great, though. What common thread with Jazwares is that with our toy lines that are tied to gaming properties, and that includes, Dev Series and Adopt Me and Royal High, we offer world building and collectability and customization, and that's what people know that they can count on from our toys. But how do you actually reach the fans? Yes, game integration is a touch point, and that's something having a relationship with the developers is very critical on that point, because they can help us execute things in game that aren't disruptive to the play experience. It still feels organic to the game. So it's not turning off anyone, and instead it's felt like added value. And an example of that is a bingo game that we did, where with every toy purchase, you got to check off a space on the bingo game, and if you win the bingo game, you get a special coveted in-game accessory. And so we've done things like that, and that really helps. So again, it's not disruptive, it's viewed as added value, it's enhancing their game experience, as well as having exclusive events and things like that. But something we also know about players is when they're not playing the game, they're talking about the game a lot, and they're on YouTube and Twitch, Twitter, Discord, and more. So that's another way for us to have that touch point with them. And again, this is where you have to understand your fans, and you have to do your research as a toy company, and you have to know how to make your marketing messaging meaningful to them. And that's another way that we can get across of how the toys will benefit them, the power of the codes, how they will have a more enhanced experience in the game, how they can level up through our toys.
Okay, and we had so many questions. We have to go real fast for the last one. So 20 seconds each. If you could give one key piece of advice to companies looking to break into gaming partnerships, what would it be?
I'm actually going to build on what Tiffany was just talking about, because that was
20 seconds.
my closing note was, how can you add value? It's about adding value and giving more to the players for their gaming experience and not disrupting it. I think that's where you absolutely lose them. So if you can find a way through the product, through the experience, to really just overall give them that added value, that's when they'll become your champions. And so that's kind of, I think, the winning code.
Okay.
I agree. And I think authenticity we keep talking about it, but it's super important. And I love the idea that you can co-create with partners, with your community. It's a place where you can learn and product develop. So I think those two really are kind of the key things that you should be thinking about, and just try, test. I think on the platform, there's kind of this hesitation of what's the perfect entry point. People come for three reasons: to have fun, to socialize, and to self-express. And as long as you can tie into any of those three, you'll be successful.
I think we're all saying the same thing. You got to listen to the fans. You have to be authentic to them. But also as a toy company, if you're approaching a gaming partnership, do your homework, do your research, play the game first of all. And you'd actually be surprised
Yes,
how many
please.
people don't do that. I mean, my kids, I'll cut off their screen time and they wonder why mommy still is on Roblox. Is because I'm doing the research. Follow the conversations on social, follow the chatter, understand what makes the game tick. That is, 100%. And then also really, we all are saying, create that 360 engagement loop from digital to physical. Keep those long-term fans incentivized to keep coming back for more.
And that is a perfect build to my advice, which is think about your strategy through the lens of a 10 or even 20-year plan. We've seen that kidults and adults have become huge purchasers of toys, but you need to build up brand loyalty amongst kids. We find that brand loyalty locks in the early teens, and so it's very important to build trust with those audiences, to know how to talk to them authentically, and to build brand resonance. The way you do it is going to evolve over the next 5 to 10 years, but make sure you're thinking of a long-term strategy, because it is those fan bases that you create amongst youth audiences that take it into their teen years, and then when they become parents, the nostalgia kicks in and they're introducing it to their families.
So don't forget, if you have questions, we will be all available at the Ask the Experts section. And thank you so much to these amazing women who answered millions of questions.